Good morning, Internet. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make some coffee real quick. Alright, well, that's brewing. So I haven't posted in like 10 years or something like that. It's been a long time, and I don't really have a channel focus anymore. Something that sorry, just picking something up. Something that I like do on my channel mainly. I stream over on Twitch maybe like twice a year. I don't really have the recording equipment to be as pro level as a lot of other, like Twitch and YouTube channels, influencers, streamers, stuff like that. But I do have my phone, and I do have a few words that I want to talk about. Mainly because today's video is going to be centered around how I feel right now about something that I care about deeply. And I mean, whenever we care about things, we always want to express our opinions about them. And that's exactly what today is, because I'm talking about Black Ops 6 Zombies. So, for those of you who are familiar with the Call of Duty franchise, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, I'm going to throw you down a little bit of a rabbit hole and catch you on the other side of Wonderland. Call of Duty Zombies, and I'm sorry if you hear my coffee machine going in the background, but Call of Duty Zombies is a national treasure. It is one of the greatest games of all time. Well, game modes. Like, Call of Duty is a great game, but Call of Duty Zombies is, like, it's great. It's what makes Call of Duty for me such a monumentous part of my childhood, part of my, like, just my whole gaming history has a lot to do with it. So, what's the big deal with Black Ops 6? Well, I mean, if you watch Mr. Awful Waffles, Mr. T-Lexified, Noah J456, Tim Hansen Zombies, like, there's so many people out there who have made this franchise their lifestyle. I don't want to say their lifestyle, but it takes a lot out of what they do and puts it into a lot of proportion, because these people have been covering this game since 2009, 2010, 2011. One of the biggest gaming franchises, like, it's popular with people my age, it's popular with the people a little younger, it's popular with a lot of people who have those memories of playing Xbox on school nights and, in my case, riding all the way up the street to my friend's house to go play Black Ops 1 in his basement. Just a lot of great memories. And for me, it was Black Ops 1. For a lot of people, it was Black Ops 1. But what was really sparking the need to make this video is a serious discontent with Call of Duty Zombies that I've had. And not that that really matters. I don't think this video is ever going to get out there. I don't think the algorithm is ever going to give me the leg up that I need to make my voice a little bit more present. But I want to talk about why I believe Call of Duty Zombies is kind of falling off. Alright, so I also realized that I completely made this video on a whim halfway through watching a Mr. Awful Waffles video, and I didn't really have a thesis or something specific that I wanted to talk about. So while I was making my coffee, I went ahead and did a little bit of brainstorming about different subjects to talk about. And if I don't cover them here, then maybe we could talk about them in another video. One that'll probably come out in like 2026. Oh, okay, so let's talk about some of them. There we go. Let's talk about some of them zombies. And also eat some breakfast too. Zoom in a little bit more for dynamic effect. So, First thing that we have to talk about today is the story. Now, this is a pretty heavy, controversial thing for me to talk about with zombies because, me personally, I stopped following the story in Black Ops 3. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people can agree with that too. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't know what happens afterwards because I've seen what happens in Black Ops 4. I vaguely understand what happens in Cold War, but I don't give a shit about what happens in Cold War. So, my first thing that I have to say, like I said, these are going to be some hard nails to pound. They're very controversial. I think story is dumb. Um, yeah, I just really think that zombies wasn't really about the story at one point. There was a point in time where it became story driven. There were hints of things going on in Shinonuma, in Doris, even a little bit of Verrucht with decoding ciphers on the walls and stuff like that. Black Ops 1 started having its story all kind of stirred in the pot, but what I mean by saying story is dumb, I'm not saying that zombies should not have a story in general. I think that a story driven element helps with speculation, as we've seen with Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, World at War, a little bit of Advanced Warfare. I think Advanced Warfare is thrown under the bus a lot, but I actually really liked it. Um, when zombies is the topic of discussion, I feel like we are on this balancing scale between story and gameplay. And what happens is when we have maps that have nothing to do with story, just kind of aimlessly thrown in there for the sake of being there. Say, the Shinonuma remake on CoD Vanguard, which I've never played CoD Vanguard Zombies, but I've watched a little bit of it. So I'm not exactly an expert here. Feel free to correct me if you have. Why am I doing the Mr. the Mr. Beast thing? But there was absolutely no story behind the essence of Shinonuma being in Vanguard. All of Vanguard in general was just kind of there for some reason, in my opinion. And didn't feel like there was any motive, just kind of felt like we were there to be there. Uh, or I guess you guys were there to be there because I wasn't there because I wasn't playing that shit because it sucked. Um, you could also take into account other maps. I think a good example of a map with no story but good gameplay would obviously be the first one, Nocturne Totem, because there was not any reason for us to be there. It was just an Easter egg and it was cool as shit. But when your gameplay is taller than your story, some people may not feel as interested with that, and this is going to be important later when we talk about a solution to everything going on with COD Zombies. When your gameplay is higher than your story, people don't feel like there's much of a reason to be there. People feel a little underwhelmed by things going on, and as a result, they get bored a little quickly because, I mean, if we're talking about some classic Call of Duty Zombies, if you're not there to high around, if you're just kind of like looking around trying to find something interesting like ciphers, Easter eggs, anything left by a developer that would seem interesting, there's only so much more on the Call of Duty Zombies checkboard that you could really check off. It as kind of like an example. Make it to round 10, open up the whole map, have all four perks, get the wonder weapon, do the Easter egg song. In a classic Call of Duty zombie setting like Black Ops 1 Kino, that's more or less what it is. That's what it feels like. There's a certain point where once you get to round 20 and you have all the doors open that you want to have open, you have both of your weapons pack a punch. Maybe you got the thunder gun from the box, maybe you got the ray gun, I don't know. Um, there's a point where you're just kind of playing the play. You're not really like too involved in what's going on. People have already made it to round 100. You're not going to do any better. I know I sure wouldn't because I suck. But there's so much criteria to be met in a classic map that you're not really sure how long you could hang on to the controller. And there's a certain point where you just get bored of it. Maybe you've been playing for too long and someone needs you to like go over to their house or something like that. Um, like maybe it's a work night and then you have no drive to continue playing. You have no reason to continue playing. So that's where I feel like when, like going back to that scale, gameplay versus story has its pros and cons. Story versus gameplay is its own beast. It's its own devil, and the reason being is look at games like Call of Duty World War II Zombies. Look at games like Vanguard Zombies and Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, where we were pretty much devoid of a classic formula in swapping for this kind of like like checkpoints and what do you call those things in games where it like puts a bead or like a dot on something you're supposed to go to, like a waypoint. Like you had waypoints, you had instructions, you had like it 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 felt like they took an Easter egg process from a zombies map and gave you all of the answers, told you where to go, told you what to do, and just didn't feel good at all in the soul. Like, what to me makes a good zombies map is when your gameplay and your story are at a middle point. And I'm not saying like they're middle on the scale where like neither are greater than the other. I'm saying like I want them up here where they're both great in their own way and they complement each other. So how do you do that? And my answer to that is to look back at previous zombies maps. I'd say the best example that I could give you is, because I'm a Black Ops 1 elitist, Ascension. I think Ascension was a really cool point because it's the first time they ever tried and the first time they succeeded. Back then, it felt like Zombies was a nonchalant project among a group of guys who just all sat at the same table and agreed they wanted to make something cool. The gameplay was arcadey, like it wasn't limited to these real life movements and, like not being able to jump the same height consecutively and, like dolphin diving with explosions when you drink the funny purple drink, which hasn't been seen in like 2,000 years. I think the last time I've had a quality sip of PhD's flopper, the dinosaurs weren't extinct yet. But Ascension had great gameplay value, and it was very bold as a zombies map. It was really trying to push the envelope and try new things. Not everything stuck, obviously, but at the same time, it made some quality leaps and bounds. It was the first map to have a solid Easter egg. Like besides Doris with the fly trap, which was also really cool, mind you, but like this was multi-step, required everybody to be involved. I don't remember what the rewards were for it, but I do remember there being rewards at the end, and it was all the stuff that made people happy to be zombies players back in the day. You know, it wasn't a matter of trying to tell this large, overwhelming story with all of these, like terms and words and names and facts and things that like you need like a PhD in zombology to understand. It was just at surface level, it was a zombies map. Starting pistol, barricades, open doors, buy guns off walls, spin the box because you feel lucky, buy perks every 5 rounds, some weird zombie boss thing happens. It was a zombies map. In its core values, it was a zombies map. But beneath it, in the basement level of this surface level scheme of the zombies map, you had something more going on. And there were no hints, there were no words spoken. Back then, nobody knew that there was an Easter egg in Ascension until they tried something. And then when they tried something and it worked, everybody was going crazy about it. Like videos of people holding their camcorders up to their like first generation flat screen TVs. They're like, oh my god, I just threw the Gersh device at that refrigerator outside of the map and it got sucked in. It did look like a refrigerator, like a washing machine. You can't fault me on that, but that's what I always thought it was when I was like playing the map. Point being that the story didn't overwhelm the gameplay, and the gameplay did not feel dulled by a lack of story. Now, we're 17 minutes into this video, and I mean, that was just one thing. I still have all of this to cover. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to post a follow-up video of the next subject, which is going to be magic in zombies. So, we'll see how that goes. Anyways, if I do get any views on this video, YouTube algorithm, I am praying to you. I'll pray before I eat. I still haven't eaten my breakfast. It's still just sitting there waiting to be eaten. But thank you guys for watching. I'll try to post more often. We're going to make a whole series about this. I don't have any editing equipment. I don't have a computer. I don't have anybody to work with. I'm doing this all on my own. So if my video quality is not really what you want from a YouTuber, like if you want the like words, like in like big bubble letters with like the unique effects just flying past the screen, I don't have that. I have no editing software whatsoever. So we're going to stay pretty boot to the ground with how we do these videos, and I'm just going to talk my talk and walk my walk. So again, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your company, and I'll see you in 5 minutes when I eat my breakfast and talk about the next subject. All right, take care.